Hey, Melanie Beckler here with ask-angels.com, here with Miles Beckler, and in this video we are excited to talk to you about self-love. Self-love is a topic we mentioned in our spiritual marriage video, and quite a few of you commented wanting to know more. So in this video we're going to share some of the things that work for us to tune into self-love that allowed us to literally attract each other into our lives by first loving ourselves and filling ourselves up with love so we could then experience the outer manifestation of love in one another. So I think it would be fun to start hearing from Miles. If you wouldn't mind sharing, what are some of the ways you first tuned in to this state of self-love on your path?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a great topic because I think the way our world works and media works, there's so much that kind of pushes us to look externally, to look for those things in the world that'll make us happy, and those things, and a lot of marketing and advertisement is designed to make us feel lack in our life, and the fulfillment will be from purchasing that product that they're selling, and that's a slippery slope because that actually doesn't create any sort of fulfillment at all. For me, it was, it came out of a very low point in my life. I was depressed. I had moved out of the area I grew up in. I kind of flew the nest, if you will, had a series of very challenging relationships that were not fulfilling at all. I wasn't enjoying my social world. I was living in the greater Los Angeles area, literally had 15 million people living around me, and I felt lonelier than I had ever felt in my life. And out of that, I just started to ask deeper questions, like what is it all about? What's the meaning of this? Why? And it was kind of from those questions that I started to look for resources and teachers and find things on my path. And there were some books that were handed to me, and eventually I made the decision to kind of stop dating, to stop looking outside of myself for fulfillment. I just consciously made a decision thinking, you know what? This path has not led me to happiness by any means, so I'm done with that, and I'm going to err on the other side and let the pendulum swing the other side and see what happens. And I began reading, listening to audiobooks, and someone handed me the first version of The Secret. A book that really kind of opened my mind was The Path Less Traveled by
The Road Less Traveled
by Scott M. Peck. Was a book that really kind of opened my eyes to the power of love and the concept that you can't give what you don't have. So if you haven't built up self-love in self, then you actually can never express love, and you can never get into a true love-filled relationship until you love yourself fully first. And that was kind of my entrance point in the path. It really came out of kind of the dark night of the soul, that real challenging place of being disgusted with how my life was going.
So really tuning into taking care of yourself, meditating, reading, growing, essentially reinvesting in yourself to...
Yeah, personal development, education. Personal development, I'm like kind of a self-help book or personal development kind of fiend, I guess. It's a habit that I've chosen. There's the concept of, if you walk into a bookstore, what section do you just walk to and sit down in front of and start pulling books off the shelves? And for me, it's the self-help and personal development. And someone handed me the original version of The Secret. Version 1 had Esther Hicks as kind of one of the main long-term characters in it. And hearing Abraham Hicks channel really felt good. Like I felt my vibration increase when I heard her talking about the law of attraction, or Abraham talking about the law of attraction. And I started following the people who were interviewed in that program, and I started buying their audiobooks, buying their books, reading their books, and going deeper and deeper, and the whole world of metaphysics kind of opened up before me, and started playing with it.
I think my path is definitely similar. I've shared a little bit about this over at The Angel Solution, how when I was very depressed and lost, also in this dark night of the soul period that precedes awakening for so many people, I realized that meditation was what felt good to me. And so I meditated a ton, and this was a small thing that I could do that was just for me. I kind of had an early tendency to try to be a people pleaser, to just do the things that my family wanted to do or that teachers or friends wanted me to do. So I really made it a commitment to tune in to myself, to tune into what do I really want to do? What is my soul truth and soul resonance and soul voice? And I think that is a hugely powerful part of self-love, is reconnecting with that authentic you. Because society and the world and media and news and maybe some of your relationships can point you in a direction, can steer you down a path that isn't in alignment with that authenticity. And self-love in its purest form is just reconnecting with your inner light, with your authentic truth and nature. It doesn't require materialism. You don't need to buy yourself a lot of things to self-love. Beginning to take steps is as simple as listening to your internal voice and guidance and starting to read the books or listen to the meditations, or even just little acts of self-love, like giving yourself permission to be creative without judging what you're creating. That actually just reminded me of one more thing, that really a part of self-love for me, and let's see if Miles agrees, is monitoring your vibration. Are you in a positive state? If not, a huge way for you to love yourself more is to consciously shift. This means if you're doing something that really doesn't feel good to you, what could you replace that with? How can you shift your vibration by changing your action?
So for me, that same concept, I learned that in one of Abraham Hicks' books. And I don't remember what one it is, but they talk about the kind of like the scale of emotions. And there's a varying scale from fear on the darkest, lowest vibrational scale of emotions, all the way to love on the most positive. And somewhere in the middle, there's that like boredom level where it's not terrible, but it's not positive, right? It's not negative, it's not positive, it's just kind of there. And once I realized that concept, I started to pay attention to like, how does this make me feel? What do I feel right now? Time in nature. I got really disconnected with nature before we met. When we met, I was hiking again because through a mutual friend, he was like, let's go out to the mountains and hike. And I was like, okay, sounds fun. I would go out, it would feel good. I would then observe, wow, on that emotional scale, this is one of the good things. I'll go do more of that. But for years before that, I lived in San Francisco, I lived in Los Angeles, I lived in big cities around lots of people, lots of concrete, and my vibration just got really low. And it was interesting that learning how our emotions are, they're not controlling us, they're not actually a part of us, they're waves and they're vibrations that flow through us, but they're actually like a feedback mechanism. They're trying to help us know, wow, this is yes, do more of this. This feels good, you're in joy, you're in love, do more of that. Or this feels terrible, right? Like this is fear, or this is depressed. Like these are negative vibrations. Like go do something else. And a lot of people kind of like dive into the negative vibrations and why do I feel this bad and try to resist it, therefore it persists, and potentially go to medications for it and blah, blah, blah. Whereas meditation, which I didn't mention in this video, but in the last video made it very clear I had been meditating 2, 3, 4 hours a day because at certain points in my life it was the only respite I had from real life. I was $50,000 in student loan debt. I thought I had a job and a business that was going to take care of me and pay all of that off. That completely crumbled out from underneath me. I had to move in with friends because I couldn't even afford my $300 a month room at one point. So it was really, really heavy. All of this while just stacking on the student loans at a ridiculous rate. So the weight was there, and it was out of that I realized, meditations, that feels good. Time in nature, that feels good. And
shifting along that vibrational scale. The book Miles mentioned is Ask and It Is Given by Abraham Hicks, and that's moving along that vibrational scale. I think that's a beautiful clarification to what I said, that if you're in a negative state of emotion, that is a form of internal guidance sharing with you that you're out of alignment with your authenticity. But the thing is, you don't have to stay in that negative emotion. I mentioned in the emotional clearing process video a way to actually release negative emotions in addition we've talked about the process of stepping back into the position of observer. So you're not only limited to moving from angry to boredom, you can literally shift back to observe through divine neutrality, through that position of observer, to not judge whatever state you're in, but to really realize what state you're in, and then tune into your internal guidance of how you can positively shift. I completely agree with what Miles said about nature being just such a powerful way to love yourself. If you're in a big city where you're not getting a lot of nature time, bring some nature into your home. Things like crystals or essential oils or plants. The simple act of putting a house plant by your bedside can help you to experience more peaceful and deep sleep, which sleep is one of the ways that I really first started loving myself. When I was in that lower vibration, I was sleeping a lot. And so you know what? If you're tired, take a nap. If you're tired, go to bed early. And now in our self-love practice, a part of self-love is being clear-headed, clean, sober, eating a healthy diet, really everything you're ingesting, food, information, material, plays a role in your overall vibration. So if you're in a vibration you don't like, if you're having challenges loving yourself, pay close attention, be aware, observe your habits and patterns and actions. How are you treating yourself with love, and where are you not? Start letting go of the ways you're not loving your body, your mind, your spirit, and this is just really going to help bring your entire being into alignment with love.
And replace them with positive alternatives.
Absolutely.
You know, right? So when we release something, so we released alcohol from our life recently, and sparkling lemon water is the positive alternative that we've replaced it with. And we drink a fair amount of sparkling water and fresh lemons, and it's detoxifying, it's got good flavor, it gives us that little pick-me-up, right? And if you're going to get rid of time in the bar scene or whatever it is, right? If you're letting that go, we'll replace it with something. What are you going to replace it with? Maybe it's evening walks. Maybe you're saying no more happy hour on Fridays and Saturdays, and whatever it is for you, but maybe you just go hike up to a vantage point and watch the sunset over town in a park in the town that you're in or something. But I'm a huge fan of that positive alternative idea. What's the positive alternative? I cut dating out of my life for about 2 years before I met Melanie and before I kind of got my head straight to where I felt I knew myself enough to go back in that direction. And for me, it was reading and personal development and going through courses, and I just consumed and consumed and consumed, and that felt good, so I kept doing that.
Yeah, so if you're browsing your phone first thing in the morning and immediately tuning in to lack or that dull kind of like Facebook timeline scrolling, you could let go of that and replace it with a morning meditation, with a morning walk in nature, or morning exercise. So that's a powerful thing to pay attention, observe. Are you in a state of love and joy and bliss and positivity? If so, beautiful, keep doing what you're doing. But if not, pay attention to that. Don't try to numb yourself to the fact that maybe you're unhappy in areas of your life. Rather, recognize that that is your own form of guidance calling for you to make some changes, to let go of some things, to bring some new things into your life. And by things, I'm not talking about material things. There's no more stuff that you need. It's mostly about habits and patterns and choices, and consciously choosing to be in a positive state. I had an experience early on where I started going down this negative spiral, and I sort of realized that I had a choice to continue down that spiral of negativity or to step back and shift. And this is when I really got into meditation, because I realized stepping back and shifting and meditating helped me to feel better, whereas going down that spiral of thought made me feel worse. So take the time to pay attention and then to make changes. Anything else about self-love you would like to share?
You know, for me, one additional item was coming to the realization and the knowing in my heart that we live in a loving universe and that there is some sort of an energy out there that is attempting to help us all live our kind of dream and live this dream life, whatever that might mean. It's the same energy that makes our fingernails grow. It's the same energy that takes an acorn seed and helps it turn into the giant mighty oak. And I wasn't a believer for a long time. I doubted it, and I thought, kind of had a cold perception of the world. But when I started to open my mind and open my heart that there is kind of a, I don't know, it's a loving universe that we're in, and the universe is co-conspiring with us to help us bring things out to make this a more positive world. That was a big shift for me, because then I started to look for all these positive things, and then it was like, well, how can I help, and how can I change things? And it was a long path to figure that out, but it's led in an interesting way. I think that's a good
point, that your beliefs are definitely a huge key in what you're creating in your life. If you believe and feel that the world is out to get you, that's going to be what you manifest. But if you start to work on those beliefs through awareness and asking your angels for help, then you really can shift your belief and shift your point of attraction to really feel and believe and embody that the universe and all of life are on your side, are conspiring with you to bring joy and love and positivity into your life, so you can fill yourself up with self-love and then overflow that out far beyond you. Of course, you have angels with you at all times, and it is sometimes hard to tune into the energy of self-love, especially if this is new for you. So ask your angels for help. Archangel Chamuel is an incredible angel of love. Archangel Muriel, Archangel Michael can help you to cut the cords of attachment and fear and density so that you can find that inner spark of love and light within yourself. And really, any of the archangels, your guardian angels, your higher selves, Jesus, whoever you feel comfortable calling upon, call in support from Spirit to assist you and guide you in loving yourself even more. A good question you can ask: how can I love myself more today? And ask, and tune into your heart, let your heart light glow, and that answer will appear. How can I love myself more today? Ask yourself that. Pay attention to what guidance you receive and take action on that. That's so key in tuning into angelic guidance and intuition. If you get the answer, take action. Love yourself and know that self-love will not only bring so many benefits into your life, it will help to change your external point of attraction, drawing more positive blessings to you.
It's an upward spiral.
It really is an upward spiral. We are lifting into the light. We are raising the vibration of Earth and humanity, and we thank you so much for your role in that, for your light, for your love, for being authentically you. So thank you. We would love your comments. Comment below and let us know what we missed. Let us know how you love yourself and what you're going to do today in response to that question: how do I love myself even more? Thank you again for watching this video. I hope it was helpful for you. Be sure to comment below, like this video if you haven't already, subscribe here on YouTube, and then I'll see you in the next video.